For us, it is an honor to have you around here. Our wish is that the secrets of the sages of ancient India, taught by the renowned yogi Sadhguru, be a powerful tool of self-transformation in your inner journey. Get to know our yoga course by clicking on the link that is in the description of this video and learn more.
The colon health is something that's completely neglected today. If you do not keep your colon clean, keeping your mind in a balanced state is very, very difficult. So in Ayurveda and Siddha, first thing if you say anything, you are having sleepless nights, you are having disturbed something, mild, any kind of psychological problems, first thing is purging. Purge the system, clean the colon, suddenly you feel little balanced. It is not a whole solution, but it'll bring the basic necessary atmosphere in the body to make the corrections. Either with medicine or with necessary practices, you can bring about correction. A yogi is always on the cellular level, the purification will not happen. The cells will retain impurities for long period because digestive process is happening means everything else is brought down, including your brain.
Yeah.
So, in yogic system there must be a minimum of 6 to 8 hours gap between one meal and the next. If that is not possible, at least 4 to 5 hours, 5 hour space is a must. Things get eliminated. From 15th of December to 15th of January, this 1 month, because of very diminished influence of sun upon the northern hemisphere, a certain inertia tends to settle into all that is physical. The physical aspect of life tends to go into inertia mode. When the solar influence is at the minimal, diminished influence, inertia sets in. When inertia sets in, one of the consequences is your colon will not be clean. The simplest thing is this, that you keep the lymphatic system up, then keeping the colon will happen. There is something called as triphala. It's a magical 3 fruits of tropical world. Mixing them in the right way, the triphala, with a little bit of water or a spoon of milk or something, if you take it, or even honey, if you take it, the cleansing in the system will happen. But if you can't find all this, in southern India, we found one magic. This is called as castor oil. Just a little bit, half a spoon of castor oil every day. In the night, warm it, put it in water or milk and drink it up. You will see your colon remains clean and your lymphatic system gets active because the inertia levels in the body will… Terrible things to eat.
What is the effect of fermented foods on one's ability to perceive? Is it something that we should avoid in certain cases?
A recent study has shown that actually people that eat a large variety of fermented foods, compared to a group that optimized fiber intake, that the group that with the multiple fermented food components had a better gut ecosystem and less inflammatory markers from that. I would recommend to everybody is as important as to eat a largely plant-based diet is to incorporate several fermented foods.
See, any animal-based fermentation, when I say animal-based fermentation, there are cultures where meat is fermented, literally rotting is considered gourmet. There are parts of the world where it is eaten like that. This is the worst way to eat it, but in those cultures it's become gourmet because these were cultures which were in extreme cold or removed from the rest of the world for large parts of the year, if they had to eat food, they had to learn to eat and enjoy rotting meat, otherwise they would be dead probably in those days. Similarly, I know this is a dangerous terrain to walk into in Western world, cheese, which is also comes from that kind of thing. When winters came, people would have nothing to eat to keep their calories going, the only way was cheese. These are all the most terrible things to eat, if you ask me, if you are thinking of perception. When we look at perception, the way to look at it is, whatever makes your body heavy and opaque in your experience, makes you feel the body is lumbering to digest that, that's not good for your perception, because body is made like this. If any one activity takes too much energy and effort, the other activities will recede. It's as simple as that. Suppose you're using your phone playing too many videos, when you want to make the call, there's no power, the battery is out, it's just like that. You're using it too much on one level, another level goes down. So to keep the digestive process being a survival process, to keep it at where it should be, nothing more, nothing less, is important. Some fermentation will multiply the gut biome in many ways. So, when it comes to fermented food, it should be under your control. For example, in southern India, one fermented substance which is consumed daily in breakfast is idli, dosa. If you go north of Bangalore, we will not touch it, at least I will not. Because one thing, the idli feels like a golf ball. In the south, idli feels like a flower. As you go north, it becomes a golf ball, you could play with it. And they don't know how to ferment. They have over-fermented it all the time. So in south, it's becoming difficult there also. Otherwise, every woman at home would know, she'll just always with little finger, they touch it like this. No, this can't be used. They would simply know. Or if you are not very sensitive, if you smell it, if it's gone beyond a certain point, you will know it's fermented beyond a point where you should not eat. So this kind of fermented thing, we always go and offer to our flowering plants, because they flower better when they get this fermented dough. But once we see that it's fermented beyond that, we don't eat. The next thing is the curd, or what you call as yogurt. It is just overnight fermented, it must be still sweet. If it's becoming sour, little sourness is okay, if it crosses that, we won't eat. Because if you ferment it beyond a certain point, then it creates a biome of its own, not support your biome. Little fermentation adds fuel to the existing stuff that is… Your stomach or your alimentary canal is fermentation, but it is a certain… fermentation is a certain culture, all right? Is it the right word, sir?
Yeah.
It's a culture.
Yeah.
It is a certain culture. So you want to culture this in a certain way that's beneficial for you, not simply culture it whichever way. If your stomach feels like a beer factory, then what? You're talking about perception. If you're talking about perception, your stomach should send signals to become more and more alert and sharp. If it makes you like this, then where is the perception? So one thing is, any animal food which is fermented, we normally don't eat at all. If you must eat a little bit of curd, but that is only overnight fermented, 6 to 8 hours. If it's summer, just 4 to 5 hours. That's how we ferment, very carefully. If people want to have a meal at 1 o'clock in summer in the afternoon, they will ferment it at morning 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, because the temperatures are hot. If it's cooler seasons, they'll ferment it just before going to bed in the night, next day it'll be ready. And this fermented thing, how you treat it. These days all this is gone, people around my table, I'm always trying to bring some sense to that. In our homes, if there is a curd which is just caked, you can't just put a serving spoon like this. You have to gently take from one side. Always they would tell us, it's alive. You have to handle it gently. Just from one side you take it and use it, because it's life, it's living. You can't just plunge it in like that and put it. See, United States America has to do a lot. I appreciate why it's become like that, because it's a matter of 200, 250 years. When they came, people came here to a wild land. They sat and ate wherever, they stood and ate wherever. Even today they're doing that, they need not do. They've achieved a certain level of education, civilization, affluence. Now you must do what's best for you. I'll tell you my experience. One day I'm driving in Washington, D.C., in the business district, not in the political part, in the business where CEOs and lawyers and others are there. I don't know what these people are. Maybe CEOs are all young people, less than 35 years of age, all young people, obviously from Ivy League kind of people. And looking at their clothes and how they are, they're very well-to-do. They're all standing outside, this is around 12:30, 12:45, lunch hour I think for them. And there is some cart, maybe it's a, I don't know, a hot dog or some dog part or cow part, something it is selling. All men and women dressed very well. They're all standing there, holding food in their hands and like this hacking at their food. I just saw this, and tears came to me. What's happened to these people? They're well-to-do, at least they can sit on the ground and eat properly. No, they're hacking at food, like even a wild animal won't eat like that. This is not good.
Yeah.
How you eat something is as important as what you eat, because you and food are not two separate things. Your body, the food that you eat, the soil that you walk upon, the water that you drink and the air that you breathe, these are not different from you, it is the same stuff here. It's just giving us an individual experience. If you treat it with as much love as you treat your children, if you can't see it as divine, at least if you treat it with as much love as you would treat your children, it would do fantastic.
So, constipation is just this. You're all the time foraging on this and that.
In southern India, we found one magic, it will keep your alimentary tract clean. A clean colon is very vital for health.
If you're eating off the fast food joints or off the supermarket shelves, you will be generally eating foods of very low water content. If there is non-vegetarian diet, then also it is a problem because the movement is very slow in the system. Any food that you eat should have high water content in it. Your body is over 70% water content. If you eat any vegetable, generally it's over 70% water content. Fruit is over 90% water content. So if you bring sufficient amount of vegetables and fruits and nuts and sprouts like this, the movement of the bowel will not be a problem at all. You're eating very dry foods which have no water content in it. So if you bring in sufficient amount of fruit, vegetable, nuts and sprouts, this should take care of it itself. So, constipation is just this. You're all the time foraging on this and that. If there's enough time between your meals, one meal and the other, you will not be constipated. All the time if you're foraging, then it's an issue.
Generally, traditionally, ghee was always eaten as the first mouthful. Ghee is a lubricant which lubricates the entire alimentary canal. That should be the first thing you consume so that it facilitates a certain easy passage of food. At the same time, if you eat ghee and carbohydrates together, if you ghee and sugar together, then it adds as fat. But if you eat just ghee or just with a small morsel of food that you eat ghee in the beginning, then it works more as a lubricant. So one who consumes ghee in a proper manner, that person's colon will always be clean because nothing sticks there, nothing stays there for long periods of time. So in the yoga center, The day starts with a small marble-sized ball of neem and turmeric. There are many aspects to this, of what impact it has on your system. So one immediate thing it will do is, it will keep your alimentary tract clean. When we say clean, this is a region where you have maximum amount of other life. So within this alimentary tract, there are a whole host of microorganisms. Many of them have turned friendly to us. We are living because of them, we are able to digest food because of them. Many functions in the body happen because of them. But still there are many who are harmful to us. The uniqueness of neem, especially when it is taken along with turmeric, if these two things go together, largely those things which are not necessary for the body, those things which can harm the body, any kind of parasital life which is there, all these things get eliminated. A clean colon is very vital for health.
Dairy products have certain enzymes which are used today to manufacture certain textile adhesives. These adhesives are not water-soluble. So when you consume lot of dairy product, it goes and sticks in your colon. So the waste material which should have easily flown out will not flow out of the system.
It's a magical three fruits of tropical world. Mixing them in the right way, the triphala, with a little bit of water or a spoon of milk or something, if you take it, or even honey, if you take it, the cleansing in the system will happen. But if you can't find all this, in southern India, we found one magic. This is called as castor oil. Just a little bit, half a spoon of castor oil every day. In the night, warm it, put it in water or milk and drink it up. You will see your colon remains clean. If you don't know this, today doctors are acknowledging it. What is happening in your mind and what is happening down there are connected. We have always said this in yoga. If you are constipated in your emotion and in your thought, you will naturally get constipated down there also. You know this? See how your brain and the other part are connected. Because whatever you're doing up here naturally affects the foundations of your life. The Mooladhara is affected simply because of the nonsense that you're doing in your head. If you get scared, you'll either have loose motion or you'll get constipated. That's why we say shit scared. Either it is being dispensed at inopportune moments or it's being stored up. Whichever way, you're shit scared. Both ways, what is happening in your mind and what is happening down there are connected.
life. So what's your definition of focus?
Okay. There are many ways to describe this word. Instead of saying focus, if you use the word attention. Would you agree that attention and focus are about the same thing? There is a little difference. There are nuances to it. But when you say focus, it's just like focusing a light on something means only a focus is always a spot. Attention can be much more widespread. See, right now, if you have clear vision, I'm having problems seeing the young man because you kept him in darkness there in the hall. But if the hall was well lit, I don't have to focus myself to see the people who are sitting here. I just need attention. If I'm attentive, I will see all the people here the way they are. But now I get interested in this one young man, then I need focus. If I had only focus without the general attention about everything around me, indiscriminate attention I'm talking about, attention not even about something, just being attentive only because there is a certain level of attention and awareness within you, you even know that you exist. Otherwise, let's say in sleep, in your experience, neither the world exists nor you exist, all that's happened is there is no attention. Because there is no attention, there is no perception of any kind.